guys.
Thank you! Wow!
Hell yeah. Great job, man.
Now we got a crash. Cars spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip.
Rain like hell, baby. Come on.
Oh my God, guys! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable. You guys are the best. Yes, 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 yes! Oh, what a year.
What's up? We're live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Good to see so many of you guys in here already so early. And I wasn't late. We started at 7. We had a what would you call them? The old what
Delays,
were they? The green
maybe?
yellow starts?
Or green yellow, yeah,
green yellow. It was
There
a
you
green
go.
yellow start. Yeah, it was a green yellow
right.
start. So real quick, because I know everyone's gonna ask. Eric won't be on tonight. This is the only time we're going to address it. Just letting you guys know. But we still have the rest of us here, and we got plenty to talk about. We got underneath me here is Danny B. He was at Bristol this weekend, so we'll have him start off in a second. And over here is Darian Gilliam, a.k.a. Black Flags Matter, who's sure to make everybody happy with his news this week that we'll talk about as well. The big stuff that we got to talk about is Bristol. It's a Bristol night race. It's one of the best races of the year. It's one of the greatest spectacles in NASCAR. Danny, from the track, how was it this year?
From the track, I thought the crowd looked really good. Like from the infield, it looked like it was a really good crowd for this one. A lot of people in the infield, a lot of people in the stands. Yeah, I know over the years they've took out some seats, they've added in drink crowds, but honestly, that's comfier for the fans in those stands. So I think that's a win for them. But just the fact that from the visual aspect of it, it looks better. And I like that part of it. You know, in turns 3 and 4, I think there was a few bare spots at times. But for the most part, I thought the crowd looked really good. As far as what the lead up to the race, I thought that was the coolest flyover I've ever seen at a Bristol race. That was actually really cool. I don't know if they really showed it good on TV.
They did.
But that thing came in so low and so fast. If it was any lower, I think that thing would have been in Bristol Motor Speedway. So I thought that was a really nice flyover. But yeah, it was a great atmosphere. Weather was great. You can't complain there. But then we get into the race itself. First stage, we're doing fine. And side note, the next gen car, because of those double exhaust, and I didn't notice this at the dirt race, and maybe it's because sound is absorbed better on the dirt, but when those cars are on that concrete inside Bristol Motor Speedway, they are much louder than any car I've ever heard at Bristol Motor Speedway. With the concrete, for some reason, they was really loud in there. So I thought that was really bringing Thunder Valley to life in that aspect of it.
Well, Carson Hocevar brought up that among some other things. He brought up some other things, but a lot of people were saying that even in testing it was like that, and they're kind of wondering, oh, is this going to be an issue for fans? We could notice on the broadcast.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, no.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
all right, deal's a deal here. Bill Cipher, thank you for the 300, buddy. I made a deal with you guys back when I released that NASCAR romance novels.
You didn't think anyone actually do it.
I mean, I know the challenge, the internet, it's bound to happen eventually. I saw them conspiring in the chat. But he says,
Bill Cipher, you legend.
yeah,
Thank you.
He says, well, Jarrett, a deal's a deal. One of us donates 300. You read the NASCAR romance novels. I said I'd read one, and it could be your choice, whoever leaves super chat. So whatever one you want to find out there, I'll read it. Oh boy. Get reading, and remember, everyone, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye.
Well,
Dude,
All
thank
right.
you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna write
now
your name
you
to
know
make
a
sure.
future stream on the Iceberg.
Yeah. It'll probably be a date in the off season. That way we can make sure that I have the proper time to get through it. I really hope it's not like a $300 or not $300, like a 300 pager, or I'm not the greatest reading in general.
We will find you a $300 NASCAR romance novel.
Yeah.
All right, well, back to it.
Man.
Darian, you watched on TV like I did. What did you think of the race this past weekend?
Well, it sounds like it was crazy. And I mean, I know it's Bristol. There was a certain expectation. There's a certain level of insaneness that you get with these races. But I mean, after watching it, the whole thing the following morning, because I was at the fairgrounds working with IDK all Saturday night. Holy crap. Like, we were able to catch the final 107 laps on Saturday night. And even those final laps were insane. So I was like, holy crap, I cannot imagine watching the full 500 lap race and just seeing the absurdity with the next gens.
It's not even like we can blame it on certain things. Like, you look at some races, like you can look back to the 2008 Brickyard 400. You can blame that on tires in this one. This race, you can't blame it on one certain thing because we saw so many issues. There was power steering failures. There was tire failures. There was toe link failures. There was lots of things going wrong in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a race of attrition. I mean, that's what it looked like.
We only really had, I say, one true Bristol wreck, that one that took out Stenhouse, Bowman, Suarez, a few others, but that was the only one only wreck I could think of. The rest of it was all just part failures, and it was just interesting. It's like you just kept waiting every other lap. It's like, okay, who's gonna have something now? And by the end of the night, all the Toyotas had something. A good portion of Fords had something, and a few Chevys had something go wrong.
Well,
and that go ahead.
Kind of starting on some of the issues before we get into some of the other stuff of the night. It was like all Fords right fronts. Like, I think at one point I was counting in the span of 20 laps, it's like 4 Fords were just like 1, 2, 3, 4 out.
Wasn't Ryan Blaney leading and then he had the tire issues, or was he up front at least?
He was up front. He might have been leading. There was Eric Almirola.
He wasn't leading, but he was up there in the top 10, I think.
Yeah, he was up front. Almirola was up front relatively, and he had issues. Harrison Burton over and over again had flats. Cindric had a flat. I can't remember if I don't think Logano did Logano, or did he have more of an engine issue? I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Fords had tons.
I think Logano had a flat at some point, because I was by his pit and they were rolling over some tires. But when he had his problem, they had already went through all of their pit cycles, so they actually had to go and find another tire to put onto his car.
Yeah,
but it seemed like a bit of a Ford issue in that regard. The parts issue was more with, like we were talking about before, with the Toyota camp. I have the results over here, and it's just crazy looking at the bottom half of the results. The last 3 finishers: 34th Kyle Busch with the blown engine,
his best track.
Ty Gibbs 35th, which, by the way, everyone thought I was freaking nuts for saying he wouldn't make it to the next round. I didn't think it'd be like this, but just saying.
Or he didn't make it.
He didn't make it, and Austin Cindric made it. Just saying.
Yeah, it's funny the names that locked in so early, because we saw, I think, who all was it that locked in towards the beginning of the race? We saw Bowman and like 3 others. Who was it?
Bowman did. Bell was already in.
Yeah,
I think Logano, Chastain, Larson, and Elliott
locked in.
Yeah. Hey, Danny. Hey, round of 12. Here we come. Pull up the banners. Pull up the banners for Bowman, man. Let's go. We moving on up.
he's never, since he's joined Hendrick, he's never once made it any worse than a round of 12. So
I could see him making the round of 8.
I could go
his way. Yeah, I could see that.
Too. Yeah, this round will be, I think, and we'll get into the playoff cut line a little bit later, but for a few of these guys, they've got a 50-50 chance of getting through. It's just going to really depend on them bringing their A game.
Yeah, but back to Kyle Buschman and Toyota. Yeah, they just had, from what I was seeing on Twitter, they just had a ton of problems there. I mean, you had Kyle Busch with the engine problems, which, by the way, David Wilson said publicly from Toyota that, hey, we let Kyle Busch down. And I'm glad they're saying that publicly, because there were people saying like, oh, this is a Dale Jr., Teresa Earnhardt situation. 2007, they're sabotaging the engines on the way out.
See, the only thing I'm really wondering about is, granted, I think Kyle Busch was screwed either way, but what was really key about getting, 2311 back out there?
Oh yeah, that was why I wanted to ask y'all that too, because I'm like, if y'all truly wanted to make sure that Kyle Busch was advancing to the next round, then yeah, why were those 2311 cars just making laps?
Because the 45 is the only 2311 they've got a chance of getting the owners championship, and it already locked in because of Bubba's win at Kansas for the owners championship.
Yeah, so questionable call, but also too, I mean, I feel like that 18 team over there at Joe Gibbs Racing, like now, Kyle Busch is in his last races with the team. That's more of an R&D card, maybe per se. Maybe they're not getting perhaps the the best of the best stuff anymore. But I don't think they're just being sabotaged though, like some fans have said. But also too, Danny, if you want to talk about this more a little bit, the 19 also had.
I have the picture up right now.
Let's try to think of the best way to say this.
Oh my god!
Every redneck in the South can relate to Martin Truex for being fed up with their old crappy car that ain't working right no more and just flipping it off.
Oh, you kidding me? I've done it. Like, I'm looking at this picture right here, and I see me with my car every time I fix a light and the other one goes out. Like, this is me right here.
I'm just so happy the cameras were able to catch that stuff, because sometimes you're not able to catch it because it happens so quickly. But nah, Truex just, the camera was right there, and he was just like, oh, he saw what was broken. It was like, oh, yep, F you, man.
That better.
He might not be the only NASCAR driver to do that this season. It's just, they didn't catch it on camera for the other.
I'm fairly confident there's a few others that would have done this. And granted, when Kyle Busch blew his engine, there was a ton of us media people all gathered around Kyle Busch's trailer. Luckily for Kyle Busch, I think he had a fortunate case of a wreck happening with Stenhouse and all them, because then it all distracted us to kind of get some of us to get away from him, because we probably would have caught him doing something that we didn't want to see either if he come out of there.
Yeah.
Well, so, talking about some of these guys that missed, we'll get to the cutoff stuff that's leading up to this next round. But number one, Kyle Busch's blown engine we talked about has him out. Probably the biggest shock for everyone, even though he's been kind of off this year. But then Kevin Harvick on pit road, his crew cost him a shot at the win.
But really quick, didn't he also speed through his pit stall as well?
I think, earlier in the night he did.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was towards the end. I could have sworn it was towards the end. I saw the final 107 laps. I could have sworn it was towards the end. Chat, help me out there, confirm that. But yeah, either way, his pit crew messed up, and also he had messed up as well. But yeah, look, Kevin Harvick still a good driver. But yeah, it's not the 2020 Kevin Harvick anymore, unfortunately. I mean, he was running up there though, and with the little
probably
tire
won.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and with the little tire fall off as well, if he had a better strategy, probably could have gotten up front more, and then could have just held his position. But yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So I'll have to go back to the drawing board next year.
Well, and then also looking at that crash you talked about, Danny, that crash collected, of the ones who still were on the cut line. I know there were more, but of the ones who still were on the cut line, not locked in, Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon. So basically a bunch of RCR and RCR affiliates all collected in one big wreck. Yeah. And while Suarez was able to keep his season alive, the RCR guys didn't. And I kind of want to ask you, starting with you, Danny, of those three, who are you most shocked to see miss this round? And I'm of those two, of the four that missed, God, I can't speak tonight. Who's the one you're most shocked to see miss? Would it be Harvick, Busch, Reddick, or Dillon?
Reddick, honestly, because I feel like the only reason he did get eliminated was just unfortunate luck in this case. Kansas, he had that tire issue. This one caught up in a mess. Darlington, I can't remember what happened to Darlington. He just ran bad. What happened there?
For Reddick?
For Reddick.
No, he ran good at Darlington. Yeah, he got a top 5.
Yeah, he got a third. Okay,
so he just got screwed over and bad luck really at Bristol and Kansas. So I mean, I didn't have him winning the championship like Eric did, but I did have him in my championship 4 prediction. So Reddick is definitely the one that I'm most surprised about.
Yeah, Reddick is definitely the biggest shock. And I just want to confirm. So the 4 guys that missed it were Reddick, Dillon, Busch, and Harvick, correct?
Correct. I'm asking this to the chat as we speak.
Okay. Dang, so both RCR cars missed too. But Tyler Reddick's definitely the biggest surprise though, and I know that's saying a lot considering that we have Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick on this list, and while some may disagree, I mean those two could be very inconsistent at times. And Tyler Reddick, he had shown that he could be consistent. That his the only issue with him is that he would always have some sort of bad luck. It was rarely a case of, oh, they just didn't really have the speed or whatever, because for the most part, that 8 team and him, they had some speed at some places that I was like, whoa, like the RCR cars shouldn't be up there. And yet they are. So yeah, Tyler Reddick is definitely the biggest surprise.
Also, I guess someone felt bad for Austin Dillon and gave him a vote because now he's at 1%. He
1%.
Yeah, let's see. We're looking at it. Tyler Reddick after 91 votes is at 49%, then 30 for KFB, 20 for Kevin Harvick, and then
didn't Eric have Tyler Reddick in his championship for?
He had him winning the championship.
No, that's what I was just saying. Me and Eric both had him in our championship 4, but Eric had him winning the championship.
Oh man.
So brackets busted.
Yeah. Okay, so you two don't have at least one in your championship 4. Darian, are all 4 of yours still alive or no?
No, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't have anybody like shocking, I don't think.
Well, so I did, and my pick is doing pretty well so far. My championship win pick has been Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
And he's the hottest driver of the opening 3 races. I also had Logano, Elliott, and Kyle Larson. So
and now it's not such a crazy pick anymore, I mean, he was the only one that was locked in all night. I mean, granted, he did have some issues on Bristol, but hey, it's all good. He made it to the round of 12, and if he keeps up this consistency,
he still finished 4th.
Also, on the subject of him, I wanted to ask, what's up with caution for his blown tire, but not for Brad Keselowski?
Yeah,
that was something that a lot of people were questioning, and I feel like NASCAR's reaction to it online, I think what they said is that when Bell had a flat, there were guys 3 wide coming up behind him, but when Keselowski had a flat, the entire straightaway was clear behind him. At the same time,
I mean, it's still a flat though, man.
I don't think so. I saw on the Colossus, I saw Keselowski being passed by cars, and that's when I realized he had an issue.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of NASCAR trying to save their butt on that one personally. I don't personally think that was the issue. My thing is you got to be consistent. It's what we talked about all along. You got to be consistent with these calls. You can't just leave some up to chance. Oh God. Movement for 2 put Daddy Bell. That might be referring to what the TV description for the race said. If you guys saw, all the descriptions for the race said David Bell is locked into the next round. I'm like, what?
Mr. Bell, if you're watching, Twitter discovered that on one of the TV guides. So apparently you got a top 5 finish. Mr.
Congratulations, David Bell, on making the next round.
Yeah, seriously. But no, dude. Hey, Christopher Bell, man. Like Jarrett, I was like, yeah, look, he's been consistent, but I didn't really see him making the championship 4. But hey, it doesn't sound too crazy now if he can continue this.
And then Baloney Burger said a lot of the common denominator in his comment section was people just saying that Keselowski's not a playoff driver, but Christopher Bell was, so there was more priority there.
I mean, that might have been it.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
There's some stuff that goes on behind the scenes that maybe we don't want to know about.
Yeah.
But you see, the crazy thing about all of this, with all that's happened, with how much the race of attrition really played into it and how much of the storyline that brought up, is that we're now 20 minutes into this thing and we're just now talking about the 19th winner of 2022,
dude,
Christopher Buescher.
Yeah, Christopher Buescher. And also too, fans pointed this out, the official end of the Fastenal curse that I put on years ago. But nah, like, that is insane, man. 19 there. I never thought. I mean, I started watching NASCAR in 2004, first grade, and that historic record-setting season took place in 2001. Never did I imagine that we would ever see that broken in my lifetime. Actually, it wasn't even a thought to me.
I was looking at it side by side. We've tied the record, and at this point in the 2001 season, there was actually 15 winners. So we're actually on track to break it.
Jared, did you I expected this card to definitely bring some parity, but no way did anyone expect 20 plus winners. The potential of 20 plus wins.
I tried to play the conservative card on all of my predictions and thoughts for it, just because there's so many times where NASCAR will be like, this brings parity and evens the field and everyone will win, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's nice.
We heard that before, but it actually happened.
This time it panned out, and I'm pretty sure that everybody who believed it is completely vindicated right now, and everybody like me who thought that it was just NASCAR saying stuff to sound good with the presses. I mean, it worked out for him, and so far there's no signs of slowing down.
Which year were they running with the slogan, "It's the greatest season ever"? That was recently.
2018. Wait, was it 2018?
No, it was last year.
Oh no, I was thinking of the
last year.
Guy.
It was last year.
They should have waited till this year.
Yeah, you should have waited, man. Oh, and then like the whole young versus the old drivers back in 2018. Those would have been perfect to run today. But yeah, just missed the mark a little bit. But yeah, dude, 19 different winners. And a playoff driver has yet to win so far.
And then this weekend, it could easily happen because we're going back to where Blaney won the All-Star race. So it could easily happen.
So I want to ask the chat. I'm going to ask you guys, of the guys who are still winless, who gets us to the 20 winner mark?
I'll go first here. It's got to be Blaney. That's the most obvious to me. It's got to be Ryan Blaney.
Is it obvious? He hasn't won this year.
No, on paper, it's supposed to be obvious, right? Because, he has he's, top 5 in the regular season points. He's been so consistent when he hasn't had bad luck, i.e. Bristol, unfortunately. But, we're going to a track where he's won at. Granted, that was the All-Star race, and the way he won was weird at the end, having the window net down and stuff like that. That would have been crazy if they took that one away because of that. But I feel like, the most obvious answer would be Blaney, but based on what we've gotten this season, it might just be another surprise winner, just somebody out of the blue that we're not expecting, because nobody expected Eric Jones to win the Southern 500. Nobody expected really, we expected Bubba to perform well at Kansas, but I didn't expect him to just straight up dominate the final stage of that race. And a whole lot of people didn't expect Christopher Buescher to win.
I felt like at one point or another, Buescher was gonna at least sneak a plate win or something. Or Super Speedway win. I'm sorry. He's been fast enough to compete year in and year out in at least 5 to 8 races a year, and it just doesn't pan out. Remember Homestead? I think in 2021, I believe he was one of the guys up front early on in that race. So it's I'm not surprised that he got a win. I'm so surprised that it came at Bristol when all the other Fords had problems like this, and just that car was just perfect for him. So I put the poll in the chat, by the way, asking who will get the 20 winner mark, and it's Blaney, Truex, Keselowski, and Almirola, which are basically some of the 4 biggest names that haven't won so far this year. I thought about putting McDowell, but that would just seem too on the nose.
You know what? I can make a case for him too. Look, we've seen that 34 have some speed on non-super speedways, and then also too, we still have a super speedway left on the schedule too. So who knows? We might have a streak of playoff winners and stuff. Then all of a sudden we go to Talladega, McDowell, boom, could be the 20th different winner.
I should wear a Michael McDowell shirt if he wins. I should buy one online and wear it.
Speaking of the 34 car and Chris Buescher, the last time that Chris Buescher got a top 5 at Bristol in a points paying race was the 2016 night race in the 34 car for Front Row Motorsports. He finished 5th in that one.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's right.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about that one.
He actually had an overall better race in that one because he started 12th and he finished 5th. So if you look at start to finish, better versus start to finish in this one. He started 20th, but you won. So
and good for Brad Keselowski, to get a win this season as a car owner. But good for him.
After seeing him, he looked like his old self when he was in the lead. I'm not going to rule out a Brad Keselowski win at this point.
He looked aggressive and in a good way, like a rejuvenated aggressive. All this season, he's just sort of been like a moving chicane at different times compared to how he ran at Penske.
He looked like Brad Keselowski in 2011 out there in charge.
He really did.
You can really go back to the beginning of the season. Remember at Fontana, he was running inside the top 10, then all of a sudden got loose, spun out. And then I feel like ever since they've kind of been on that downward trend. They've had some decent runs every now and then, but for that 6 team, it's good to see one of their cars win. And really, having Roush, Keselowski Racing, having them, return to victory lane and stuff, just based on their history and also based on their social media presence, it's good for the sport. It's good for the sport.
Shout out to Elijah.
Yeah, it's good for the sport if that team wins more, because then we'll get more memes and content. That's right.
Yeah, God bless Elijah.
Did you see that he got to meet Kristen Bell this weekend?
Oh, that's another thing too. Why did NASCAR not mention that?
So she was actually doing some stuff with people at Moneyline, and I found that out. I ran into a guy that I follow on Twitter named Phil Spain. Phil Spain actually got to have his Moneyline username on Bubba's car at Kansas, and the deal was if Bubba won, then he would get $10,000. Obviously, Bubba won, so he was given $10,000, and then they invited him and a few other people out to the Bristol race when Moneyline was the sponsor for Bubba's car. So I thought that's pretty cool. And then I guess she must have obviously some kind of deal. And then also I didn't see him there, but I saw a picture from somebody. Her husband is also an actor, and I can't remember his name now at this point.
I know what he looks like, though. I know what he looks like.
You've seen him in like a ton of stuff.
We've seen them in stuff together, even commercials.
Yeah, and then he was also there with people at Moneyline. So they was hanging out with the Moneyline people.
Chat. If you know who that guy's name is, just let us know in there. While we go on really quick, because I wanted to bring up, since we've been talking about RFK and how good they looked, which again, Bristol is a very strong track historically in the last couple of years for them. So I don't want to say they're like 100%. Saying Dax Shepard?
Dax Shepard,
okay.
Yes. And so you've probably seen him as like more of a goofy character in a lot of movies. That's what he's kind of known for doing. But yeah, they had a celebrity couple there at the race who went way under the radar of not really knowing they were there.
They should have been on NASCAR socials, but yeah, that's it. I'll just leave it at that.
So this blew my mind, because I remember, just like all of us, growing up in the era where Roush was getting 4 to 5, 3, 4, 5 cars into the chase.
Wait, is that a real stat?
Real stat. This is the first non-super speedway Roush for win since Carl Edwards won at Sonoma in 2014, and it's the first non-super speedway win for the 17 car since Matt Kenseth in 2012.
Dude, I remember watching that 2014 Sonoma race. And I was watching it with my late grandma at the time. I think I was a sophomore in high school.
Same.
I actually also realized I've now been at the first win for the 2 most recent 17 drivers. I was at Talladega for Ricky's first win, and now I was at Bristol for Chris Buescher's first win.
Yeah,
How about that?
That's awesome.
Well, wait, sorry. First win in the 17.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
I forget. This is not Chris Buescher's first win. It feels like it.
It's a second.
It does feel like it.
Yeah.
Well, it's his first win under power.
Yeah, with no rain or anything like that. But yeah, no, congrats to the 17. And really quick shout out to Nathan on Twitter. He is a diehard, Roush racing fan. But like the funny part about that, after the race, while he was celebrating, there was this copy paste that was going around, basically saying like how he didn't own the team and didn't have any stock. It's like, oh, it's not your team. Don't say we won. I just thought that was hilarious. So shout out to you, David.
So that's what that's from. I saw that, but I didn't know what it was.
That dude is hilarious. I love his Twitter.
Yeah, it's funny. But hey, good. Congrats to Roush, and hey, hopefully this is the first of many. I'd love to see them back in victory lane more.
Now, I wanted to bring this up just before we go to the playoff cut line, because I know people will bring it up about the 22 and the 23 in and out of the garage, finishing out. NASCAR, from what Bob Pockers reported, did check both of their cars, and they did have legitimate race-ending damage to them. So, yeah, I'm not going to go full, because after the race before that was reported, I remember, even on my post-race stream, I'm just like, it's kind of fishy, just saying, but it was all good.
Thankfully, it was confirmed.
Yeah, it was confirmed by Bob. I trust Bob. So, going to the playoff cut line. We got 12 in right now, and I'm just going to read how high up they are when I read their position, because at this point, that's what matters. Chase Elliott is plus 31 back in the points lead thanks to his regular season.
He's going to miss the round of 16, Jerry. He's gonna miss it.
Okay, the thing is, there's like the running narrative because I'm critical of Elliott at different times that I hate Chase Elliott and like and that I was bringing that up. I'm like, I never said that. He's in my championship 4 picks.
Put your drivers in line. We are gonna criticize all of them. Okay, doesn't mean we hate them. Okay,
It's like that one meme of the dude from like in the skit where it was a parody of this show where like Zachary Quinto slaps some kid that like is his brother's kid, and then the parody of it's like every time someone comes up he just slaps him in the face. That's us with all of your drivers.
Yeah, basically like we don't have favorite drivers anymore, so we can just make fun of, we can just go nuts on them.
Even me, I'll make fun of the 48 at times. Even now.
Oh, and we will too, of course.
Anyway, Chase Elliott is the points leader, plus 31 after winning the regular season title. Back up top. Behind him is Joey Logano, plus 16. Ross Chastain, plus 11. Kyle Larson, plus 10. And then William Byron, plus 6. And a 3-way tie for 6th through 8th of Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Blaney, plus 4 over Chase Briscoe, who's 9th. Alex Bowman, minus 6, is tied with Daniel Suarez as well for the 10th and 11th spots. And then rounding it out is Austin Cindric, minus 7. So, Darian, I can tell you're chomping at the bit. I just heard you like kind of. And who are you looking at into this round, either good or bad, on the cut line?
Well, I'll start with the bad here. And I mean, it's a guy who is actually above the cut line. Look, I love me some Ryan Blaney. Okay. He can be very consistent at times, but he has this bad mojo around him at these certain places. You know, it seems like every time he's like running top 5 or whatever, every now and then something happens, blown motor or part failure, or he gets taken out by some dummy. You know, I mean, look, I know he has a history of making, you know, the round of 8 here, especially in the 12 car. But, you know, he's somebody that I think we should just keep our eyes on a little bit more. Now, yes, I mean, technically, yeah, he's like, you know, like he's just above the cut line plus 4. So he's not totally safe. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in these 3 races he runs into some type of issue not of his own doing, and that costs him, you know, a chance to advance. So I'm you know, I'm just a little concerned about, you know, him and that team right now. But we'll see how it goes. As for the good though, I mean, hey, look, Chase Elliott, I mean, he's loving it. He's loving life right now, man. I mean, like, granted, I mean, it's only a 31-point gap, but I mean, no, the other playoff drivers aren't even in the 20-point range either. So, I mean, he has a decent gap compared to the field. And I know there was some concerns with him, like, oh, he didn't qualify as good, yada, yada, yada. Look, I feel like at this point, they know, like, hey, look, we're one of the best teams. Let's just try and survive and advance these races. We don't have to dominate them, but let's get our stuff together for the round of 8 and the championship 4 when it really matters. So don't panic, guys. Okay, if he doesn't qualify as well, oh well, so be it. He has enough race pace to get himself up there.
Danny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Blaney is a good concern, especially now he's going to be without his crew chief for the next 4 races.
Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you for, sorry about that.
So, yeah, he's the biggest one that stands out to me. I mean, yeah, he won the Roval before. Yeah, he's won Texas at the All-Star race. And he will still be okay because that car is still going to come with speed, but just not having the same crew, it is going to affect him. We'll see what happens in the actual race themselves. That's definitely going to be a concern. Another concern I would have is probably Ross Chastain. You know, I feel like we're at the point where now a lot of people might start remembering those things he did in the regular season. So, you know, you get him out on the Roval, he's going to probably make a few people mad. You know, you put him in a situation where he's next to Alex Bowman on the cutoff line. He might remember getting punted out of the way at Coda. You know, you put him around Denny Hamlin, he might remember something at one of the tracks. I don't know where to start on that one. So he's one you got to keep your eye on. But I mean, everyone below the cutoff line, I think all 4 of these guys, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, they each have a track in this round that has been good to them in the past, but they also have a track in this round that could be terrible for them.
Interesting stat on Cindric here. He, of the 12 remaining playoff drivers, because I don't compare Atlanta to Talladega, I should say, just because it's such a different racing style. But when you look at Daytona, Talladega, and Daytona again, of the remaining 12, Chastain has the best average finish at those tracks and the second best at the road courses. So
Wow.
he's been doing a lot better than people think.
I think of the bottom four, Cindric is probably who I feel the best in.
I'd say so too. I will say, looking at some of the trends with Bowman, he's the third best on 1.5 miles this year, fourth best on super speedways that you can compare to Talladega, and he's good at the Roval. Like, I wouldn't count Bowman out of this round either.
For a while, he had an average finish of like 2 at the Roval or something like that.
And also Chase Briscoe here. He's a very interesting one because he has a history on the Roval. You know, he's won there in Xfinity before as well.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
So I don't know, man. All it takes is just one win.
I think he's the only. I think of these 12, he's the only pretender. Like he is the one who, like, I'm surprised even made it to this round after watching the first 3 races.
Hey, now he's there though. But hey, you never know.
If I have to pick a shocking name to not make this one, I'm actually gonna go with Hamlin on this one.
Same.
That's not that shocking. I don't think it's that.
I
shocking.
think it
just
is
based on his based on his season though.
But
you know,
everyone's hyping Hamlin up as a championship contender because of the reset.
I just don't, and honestly, I really don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just because, you know, he just keeps advancing, but it's like, just based on this season, his usual standards, he's just not up to par. You know,
would y'all like me to go full Larry Mack here on y'all and tell you the trends since they've had this format since 2017?
Yes, the trends. Give us the trends, please.
All right. So here's what I got. In the round of 12, the first, second, and fifth seeds entering the round have never been eliminated. That is Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and William Byron. They're in those seeds right now. Those historically have never been eliminated from the round of 12. Entering the round of 12, no seeds have been eliminated more than the 8th, 11th, and 12th. And currently, because of tiebreakers, Ryan Blaney is the 8th seed, and then 11th is Suarez, 12th is Cindric. So, interesting there. Those seeds have been eliminated 4 out of the 5 times that we've seen this system run since 2017 through 2021.
Wow.
Now, the highest amount of points above the cut line entering this round to be eliminated was plus 26. That was Kyle Larson in 2017. The only driver above that threshold is Chase Elliott at plus 31. The lowest below the line to make it into the round of 8 is minus 12, meaning that everyone is in that. There's nobody under minus 12, so that one's kind of null and void. You can look at that as the chaos of this season. No 5th seed or higher has been eliminated since 2018. No 6th seed or higher has had an issue getting to the round of 8 since 2019. 2021 was the only time ever the 7th seed has been eliminated in the round of 12, and 2019 was the only time the 6th seed was. In 2018, it was the only time for the 4th seed, and 2017 was the only time for the 3rd seed, meaning basically 6th on up, it's not normal for them to be eliminated. Same with, I'd say even 7th on up for the most part, aside from 5th.
That's interesting.
2 more here. Other than 2019 and 2020, every year 2 above the line have been eliminated. Now, every single season of this, 2 or more have been eliminated under the line in the round of 12. So a couple of interesting trends to look at. Of course, trends are just that, trends. It doesn't mean that they are facts. It doesn't mean they are going to be set in stone. But hearing that and seeing the guys, especially when you look at the ones who always miss being 8th, 11th, and 12th, I have to say Suarez and Blaney, it's like that kind of fits how their seasons have gone. Like good, but could easily be eliminated in this round.
Yeah, they're not safe too. I mean, they're not safe at all. Yeah, and Cindric as well. You know, there's a lot of guys like that. It's going to be interesting to see who survives and advances. You know, but there's some surprises maybe.
I felt like the Talladega race in the spring was a little bit meh, but the fall, all bets are off the table on that one. So,
well, I'm going to put you guys on the spot right now, and I mean, I can give mine if you need like a little extra time. Who of these guys are your 4 to get eliminated this round?
Okay, I'll go first. All right. So of the 4 right now, Suarez, Cindric, let's see, William Byron, maybe, and finally, you said, hey, look, you said 2 above the cut line usually get eliminated.
Usually,
Right now,
other than I think the last 2 years.
Okay, right now, I'll go with Ryan Blaney. Right now, let's say we'll see if that changes, but those are the 4 I'm going to go with. So 2 above the cut line, 2 below the cut line. And yeah, some of y'all are saying like, oh, well, what about Chase Briscoe? I know, I got a feeling about the Roval. I don't know. I just have this feeling about it.
For my 4, I'll say Briscoe. I'll say Suarez. I'll say Hamlin. And I'm debating between 2 people. I'm going to go Blaney. The one I was debating on is Kyle Larson because he's only plus 10, and I don't trust him at Talladega. Yeah, he's won the Roval before, but I still can't trust him there either.
Yeah. It's just hard. It's so hard to predict these playoffs anyways, too. I mean, look, you see surprises happen all the time. So like some of the most obvious guys that are supposed to make it just sometimes in some cases usually don't, you know? So.
Well,
so yeah, I'll say Larson gets in, but Blaney and Hamlin, those are my shockers.
Well, I'll give you my 4. And I put these in my video the other day. I got Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric. I think those are the ones. I'm looking in the chat, too. I'll read a couple of these ones out. Spencer in the chat has Briscoe, Bowman, Suarez, Cindric. Cito has Suarez, Bell, Cindric, Bowman. Napa Racing Fan has Cindric, Briscoe, Suarez, Joey Logano.
No.
That's an interesting one.
Talk about some shockers there. I see John as Cindric, Briscoe, Blaney, and Chastain to miss.
Well, I mean, if you look at Joey Logano, again, you can compare mile and a halves, hasn't finished higher than 14th, 17th place average. His last finish at Texas was 30th. You look at the comparable super speedways, 21st, 32nd, 12th, with a 21st place average. Last finish at Talladega, 32nd. And then at the road courses, his last 2 have been top 10s, but before that have been below 15th. So it's not too crazy. Let's see.
Just said all of Hendrick out.
Hey, it's possible. It's certainly possible, but we'll see.
It is, but I also doubt it.
That'd be crazy.
Too Tough to Tame has Byron, Bowman, Briscoe, and Denny Hamlin. MVR owner has the 14.99 and Chase Elliott. Wow.
Oh. Hey, yeah.
With the Roval?
Hot Piss has Chase Elliott, Logano, Christopher Bell, and Larson to miss. Well, you might be trolling.
I know I met you this weekend, man, but I think you're trolling.
Hey, yeah, he's either trolling or he's on that some of that.
Did y'all read Sebastian's? His are Cindric, Briscoe, Hamlin, Byron. S. Cole has Larson, Suarez, Briscoe, Cindric. I'm liking this. I love hearing all these different takes on it too.
Here's an account. Just Alex. It's probably Bowman's burner account. He has 14, 11, 22, and 1.
I see Isaac in the chat. He's always in. How's it going, buddy? Cindric, Suarez, Briscoe, and Joey Logano. Mickey Logano has Bowman, Suarez, Cindric, Briscoe. Man, that's interesting.
Hey, Danny, at least there's not as many Bowman ones, you know? At least there's not as many. They're having some faith in your guy for once.
I mean, it's just hard to predict. It's the
playoffs. Yeah, it's hard.
Any one of these 12 guys can show up at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like...
Here come more sirens.
Oh.
Can't hear it right now, but people heard it, the other ones.
Chat. Yeah.
They're all coming for a freezing hot.
It's hard to know what'll happen.
They're coming for a freezing cold takes, and no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Or L takes.
Oscar has Chastain, Briscoe, Bell, Cindric. I love that. There's a huge dispersion of picks for this, and I love now we have the famous Iceberg sirens.
Yeah, get that meme going.
So very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Sorry, Spencer. I wish the UFO was here, but still in the shop. It will be back for sure next year. I need to get the lights working again. The lights, like, they tie the whole thing together. So that I'd say that about covers looking into the playoffs. How about we've been positive? I would say this. We've been positive for 45 minutes here.
Oh no. We gotta change tones though. Oh
yes, we do.
Oh, we were doing good. We were doing good for a while there though, especially in the ratings.
All I'm gonna say, at least there was a good amount of butts in the seats. So
yeah, the estimate I saw was about 100,000 because I think Bristol now holds about 115 to 120,000. So
that's pretty full. That's pretty close to full.
Let me be 100% sure, but I believe that is the 6th or 7th race this year that's been at or over. There's Daytona 500, Coke 600, Road America, Pocono, Watkins Glen, and Bristol is 6th. That's a 6th race of this year, which is more than a lot of the last couple of years. But let's look at the ratings. All right.
Yes. The ratings. Yeah.
It ain't good.
Hey, yeah, just get it over with, man. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
All right. It was a 1.07 rating, which is 11% off of last year. It is 1.776 million viewers, which is almost 20% off of last year's Bristol night race. We lost to NHRA in the 18 to 49 demo.
Oh no!
They got 578,000. Granted, it was right after an NFL game, but still, we've had that same thing happen to us as NASCAR fans.
We lost out to the TikTok of motorsports.
Look, so to further explain that more too, because like I was trying to watch the Rams versus Falcons game, and then I realized I'm like, oh yeah, I won't be able to watch it from out here because they don't show the late games unless the Tennessee Titans are playing out here or something. So instead, they showed the NHRA race to those, out of touch markets. Mm-hmm. And to their credit, it worked, and they need to do it more often.
We lost. They had 578,000 in the key demo. We had 411,000. So lost by 167,000, 18 to 49 viewers.
Really quick, Danny, do you want to explain your little TikTok theory here with the
TikTok of motorsports? Very exciting, but it doesn't last long.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true that. I mean, 3-second races. So.
To be fair, and I will get to this probably in the off season in the next year, but I talked about doing videos on NHRA, so it's an entertaining racing series, but historically they don't beat NASCAR.
Especially in the key demo, might I add.
and again, we did have a higher total viewer count, but
yeah.
Anyway, there's a couple other things that I'm going to put on here too. The playoffs this year are down 19. Actually, I rounded to 19. It's almost 20% in ratings viewership wise compared to last year. And I did all of the counting on this, and I have all the data here. It is, let's see. Yes, it is the largest year-over-year drop for the playoffs in the history of it. And that's not history of 2017 on. That is the history of the chase, the elimination chase, and the current playoff format. Is the largest year-over-year drop of the first 3 races ever.
I think at this point,
and that includes a rain out at Chicagoland in 2011 to open that one.
I think at this point, man, look, it's the whole purpose of these playoffs was to bring more entertainment, right? It's supposed to draw in a bigger audience. That was the whole goal when they first started in 2004, and it kicked off perfectly. But how many increases have we had since then, Jarrett, since the first one in 2004 at the playoffs?
Okay, so 2004, it was an increase of 11%, and in 2005, it was up 5%. So I will say, like, it worked. It did work the first 2 years. 2011, it was also up 5%, and 2013, it jumped up 9%. Since then, 2014, it was down 4%, 2015 down 12%, 2016 down 16%, 2017 down 5%, down 12% in 2018, down 10% in 2019, and down 4% in 2020, flat last year with 2020, and now we're down about 20%.
God, like,
it's been a decade.
Look, the numbers don't lie, man. The playoffs have been a failure. They were supposed to increase ratings. That was the reason for it, because like, oh, well, who's gonna have any interest in the final races if Chase Elliott's ahead by like 130 points?
I'll say this: we've talked about the retirements and the Dale Jr. effect from about 2015 to 2018, so I won't count those ones. Like I don't,
Okay.
because I don't think it's comparable to 2019, 20, and and it's hard to even say 20 because of the pandemic and everything. But it's just
At this point, dude, look, NASCAR, you tried your best, all right, and attaboy to you, because look, it's hard to compete against the NFL, college football, and then there was also UFC on that, that Saturday night too. So it's hard to compete against a lot of these sports, but the playoffs, it's just they're not working. It's just not working. It's not doing what it was intended to do.
well, did you see what Chase Elliott said? Because I found that really interesting.
Did he say it over the weekend?
Yes.
Or, y'all, was it about the football stuff, I believe?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Explain that.
Let me see if I have all of it on me or not. I thought I had it on me. Yes. So Chase Elliott was talking about having a more compact schedule. And in his words, less is more. In timing to this schedule, he says you can have it be 36, 40, 56 races. He doesn't care. What he wants is the season to be done either before or very early on in the NFL season. For the TV rating side of things. And he also called for more night races, which I will say I will push back on that in a bit after this. But he says he sees no reason, quotes, I see no reason to compete against the NFL because basically the NFL owns this part of the year. I know that NASCAR fans are like diehards are going to get mad about this. And I know that they're going to be like, they're gonna say, well, I don't care about the NFL. Well, yeah, and to be fair, like if I had to choose between a NASCAR race and even watching my Vikings win like they did against Green Bay, I went to the race instead, and I would have watched on TV instead, just because I am a bigger NASCAR fan. But I think getting to the point where when you're talking about the long-term health of the sport, and I think with what Chase Elliott's saying, it might not even mean getting rid of playoffs as much as just compacting it together. What I was saying would be the bigger thing to keep those viewers who are going to fall away, because there is a fall off every year the NFL shows up. I'm not denying that, and there could still have been a fall off, and we wouldn't have lost viewers even if it was flat with last year. But the fall that we're seeing this year is amazing, and I put this in the itinerary to talk about. We would need to average 2.507 million viewers per race in the last 7 races to average the exact same as 2021's playoffs did in total. Only 3 of the last 7 races in 2021 eclipsed that number. And I swear, I have so many papers, I lose them. Where's it at? And I have it right here, and I can tell you which ones they were. I think off the top of my head, I can tell you it was the finale, the Martinsville race, and the Roval. Yes.
As soon as you get all that, I've got a stat I want to also share for that kind of concerns me too.
Well, I'll finish off here then, because I do want to hear that. What I would say is try the Monday night option as like a doubleheader for some of these night races. We can get back, but still have a good TV window. We've seen it before. You see it in general on TV. Monday nights actually do very well for viewers, and if you work it out, especially with NBC, but probably and Fox, but probably more even with FS1, you can get races like doubleheaders, like a doubleheader at Richmond. Have a Sunday afternoon race like normal, and then have your night race Monday night instead of having people scorch in the sun in July. You could have a Kansas one like that, whether it be at the end of the year, before the playoffs, because I don't think you can do this in the playoffs. I don't think you can draw out the storylines, because I think NASCAR, as much as people have been going up against the playoffs being done, I don't think they're going to get rid of them, and I don't think they're going to experiment in the playoffs. I think that's, for me, when I look at the schedule, that's actually the biggest detriment that the playoffs have done to the schedule overall, is that you only have 26 points paying races to actually test stuff out with schedule-wise, with the season schedule in general, because they're never gonna start trying to do outside the box things with the schedule when there's a championship fight going on. I never see that happening. I think that's where the bigger hindrance is, even compared to ratings, because I think NASCAR could make the playoffs work if we didn't have to go against the NFL for the entirety 10 weeks of them.
Yeah, if only like we went up against them for the first few weeks, something like that.
Foul Gumbo brought up a good point. I don't know where they're gonna put it because they can't put it on USA because Monday Night Raw is on USA.
NBC.
NBC too. Yeah, but it's kind of hard to get NASCAR and NBC for Sundays.
It's hard enough to get them on there in general.
Well, no, and we obviously this can't happen in 2023. If they're a lame duck in 24, who cares what channel they put them on in general because they're not going to care. But even so, if like is being theorized by a lot of people, ESPN ABC comes in for NBC, put them on ABC. Like you could even do a Sunday night race on ABC. Yes, they'll go against Sunday Night Football, but they went against Sunday Night Football on NBC Sports Network with Las Vegas, and the ratings went up a considerable amount when they did that. So there's options long term. I don't think this is a quick fix, but it's and I get Cito, you're saying it's not the 2012 Daytona 500, but in general Monday nights do better.
Jake Hobby says that they likely have contract shows that already have those time slots on NBC.
But will they 3 years from now?
Yeah, so I mean, this isn't something that they're gonna do very soon. They could definitely work this out for the new television deal.
I just also know that back in the pandemic, we saw weekly races not working. I'm kind of scared to try it, even if it's Monday.
No. Mondays is different than the midweek. Midweek is Tuesday through Friday is a dead zone on TV.
Those were bad. Yeah. I mean, obviously we had to run, those races on those days because of COVID and, to get more races done for the season,
but
full 36 schedule. But yeah, in general though, Monday night races Monday night, TV or whatever. I mean, that's a good time slot to show whatever program.
It's a risk, but I think it's different than trying Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because Saturday night through Monday nights in general, obviously you can't do it during the day because of school and work and stuff, but those are generally, when you have them in the right time slot, better viewership for NASCAR and sports in general.
Somebody said, but Jared, the Bachelorettes, that's on Monday. We can't do that. Nobody cares about no reality TV, bro. Man,
again, this is something that there's going to be dead times for all of these different shows, for different things like that. You got to experiment with it, because obviously what they're doing now isn't working when you look year over year at constant shrinking audiences.
But really quick, Danny, what was that stat you wanted to bring up? That you were
I don't know if it's really a stat, but it's just something to consider with the Bristol race. This year we're talking about, ratings being down. I think next year we're also going to be having the same conversation. It might even be less, depending on what the time is of the ball game. So this year, Tennessee football played at the same time as the Bristol night race, and ordinarily the Bristol night race is going to get a more likely audience from Tennessee want to tune in, but they did go up against the Vols. Now, granted, they killed Akron, so it wasn't really a game that's worth watching. Next year, even though Tennessee will be on the road, they'll be playing Florida, one of their biggest rivals. That's going to take away a lot of the Tennessee crowd who would ordinarily want to tune in casually to the Bristol race. And so that one kind of worries me for next year. Granted, if they play them at 3:30 like they are this year, maybe you don't have that to worry about. But if it's a night game for any reason, there goes a lot of your Tennessee audience right there.
Well, what concerns me too is the college football slate this past week. Everyone keeps saying that's the reason why it's down, but it's it was weaker than last year's.
It was such a midweek for college football, and I mean this with no disrespect to him. But game day was at Appalachian State.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
That's not really who I think college game day going to usually.
But also too, this whole is anyone else kind of just sick of the excuses made by some NASCAR fans when it comes? It's this isn't the first time we've gone up against, college football or NFL or something like that. And it seems like every year it's well, yeah, but all this stuff was on. Look, I get all that. But yeah, to y'all's earlier point, that was a very weak slate of games that was on. You had some ranked games. The best game that was on later that night was Miami versus Texas Tech. And they're ranked, but I don't see those guys competing for the national championship. Certainly not this year. But just when are we just going to admit, hey, look, Saturday nights are typically just not a good time slot for TV, unfortunately. And granted, you had some other stuff going up against it, but I don't know. It's just we gotta look what within and what NASCAR can improve and stuff, and just stop making excuses. And
Napa Racing Fan 927 says lack of promotion, and I'm sure that plays a part. But I'm gonna be honest here. NBC's had a lack of promotion for NASCAR since about the first 4 or 5 years of the deal. Like,
and also, what was NHRA's promotion? Do you think it was any better than usual this week? I doubt it.
I mean,
Like,
if you're promoting on NFL Fox games compared to maybe,
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, I watched Sunday Night Football and I don't remember seeing too many NASCAR ads. Like, you saw one maybe a quarter. Like, whereas anytime you go to commercial for a Fox game, you're going to see everything that Fox has.
Surprisingly, who's been the best for each other is actually WWE and NASCAR. I see a lot of NASCAR ads while I'm watching WWE here. Like,
Yeah,
It shares an audience.
mainly because of the US. Well, actually, beginning of the year, SmackDown's on Fox, so I see promotion for it there. And then when NBC has it, I see promotion on USA. So that kind of does good for both of them.
But it's going to be interesting to see what this week at Texas does. It's a different weekend. Let me look at what last year did. So last year on the comparable slot was Las Vegas, and that got just over 2 million viewers. And Texas last year on Big NBC got 2.4 million viewers. So if it's down, year over year the same weekend, the way that this one, because Bristol last year, like I said, got 2.2 million, and Las Vegas the next week on a 1.5-mile track on the same channel that Bristol was on got 100,000 less. So, I mean, if it went with that trend, we'd have about 1.6 million watching this coming week, which is
we'll see.
No bueno.
Yeah, that's not good, but we'll see what happens with it.
But really quick, I think kind of squeezed out everything we can out of that one. Let's cut to the 2 lower series real quick. You have the Xfinity series on Friday night, which I believe that one got like 600,000 viewers. I don't know how. I think it was down compared to the year before, where Trucks was about even on a Thursday night.
It was a pretty mid race too, wouldn't you agree, for Bristol? I mean, like, it wasn't like too anything. Like,
I mean, I honestly thought the racing was better than the Cup race.
I think the Xfinity race was about average for that.
Yeah.
At Bristol.
Yeah.
But the truck race was. Truck race was very tame. I'll just say that.
And we'll get to the poll in a moment. I just wanted to get through these 2 really quick before we finish.
It's really
with
quick,
the poll.
guys.
We don't need to say much about these, but let's say this real quick because I want to talk about this. I applaud Noah Gragson for vomiting in his car, getting out, not being ashamed to show that, and then also grabbing beers from people in the stands. Not likely. He did shotgun some of those, and then he went to Waffle House that night and ate waffles. Like, how much more did he let go? I'll say that.
Rally.
When is look, I think Noah Gregson's definitely a phenomenal talent. Can't wait to see him in the Cup Series next year, but somebody's got to help him out with this stomach issue thing, because these races he's going to be driving in next year are a lot longer than Xfinity.
Well, I mean,
from
what I understand, I mean, he's not had this issue in the Cup races he's been in so far this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
But
so
also,
this only happens when he wins.
Part of it is the intensity of the competition. I think when he's up there battling for these wins, something's happening to his heart rate more that's doing this, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he said he holds his breath.
Oh, well, that's another thing too.
I'll bring this up too about Noah. He did take out Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, that's
going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, it cost Sheldon Creed a shot to advance to the playoffs. Unfortunately, and it was looking like he was going to.
I mean, he was kind of a long shot anyway.
Well, I mean, Landon Castle had issues though, so then it brought him closer in the point standings, and I think he was. At the time he wrecked, he was like, I think 3 or 4 points out. So it's not like he was like 30 or 40 points out and he needed this miracle victory.
Yeah.
But I think Sheldon Creed will definitely improve next year. But I mean, Ty Gibbs, he didn't really say anything post race, but hey, just be on the lookout for that maybe.
I'm glad Ryan Sieg made it in because he's still a driver who consistently does well for the equipment he's in. So I was happy to see him get in.
Now I'll give the quick synopsis of the truck race. It was mid.
No tire follow.
Ty Majeski won, and because the truck schedule is so freaking drawn out, he locked himself into the final 4.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten about that for a moment.
We can say this: Ty Majeski did not deserve to be booed for winning.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that. No,
they booed him because he wouldn't do a burnout, and that's that's not something that guys of his background are known to do. He grew up racing late models. He knows what goes into the cars. He's not going to go tear it out.
Needs to save equipment here.
Plus, because what Jared said, the schedule, that's likely his Phoenix car.
I think they said I think they said in the broadcast it is.
Yeah, so. that's his Phoenix truck he won in.
And another funny thing that happened after the race, I remember tweeting about, hey, RIP to those who pitted, because at one point in the race there, and it was a pivotal moment, a lot of the front runners decided to go down pit lane. And one of those was Chandler Smith. And Chandler Smith questioned his crew chief on the radio, and his crew chief basically said, shut the F up and drive. Well, he didn't exactly say that, but basically it was like, dude, shut up and drive. I'm the crew chief, So they basically don't even get a top 10 finish. And then afterwards, I tweet, RIP to those who pitted. There was little to no tire fall off. And he replied to my tweet saying, thanks. And I was like, oh, boy. That's somebody who was pissed off there. But,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
But we'll see if it affects their playoffs things or whatever. I doubt it. They have so much off time anyway, so they'll probably just regroup and get to the next race. But yeah, just one of those mid Bristol races, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
Now, Darian, like we did a little out of order, but what do we have?
Look, we talked about ratings earlier, but these are some of the best ratings ever. The poll, the famous Iceberg poll.
So this week we had 15.3 thousand votes. 47% great and 31% good, meaning we had a 78% net positive. We had a 12% average vote, and then 5% apiece for below average and bad, so 10% net negative. All right, guys. Positive, negative, or meme, Denny delivers. Got the first comment again.
Meme. Again, like this is his thing. This is what he does.
Meme.
Crashes are red, Goodyears are blue, all the tires are broke, or all the cars are broke with steering issues.
Dang, you just come up with this stuff on the fly, man. You got to be talented and
I feel
quick
like he
to
has
be...
this in the
I thought he was gonna say Truex told his car F you.
See, I think what he does is he puts his little whatever he's gonna comment in the notes, and then he'll copy it, and then afterwards he'll refresh his timeline, see your poll, and then immediately post it.
What I put on the screen.
Out.
What I put on the screen now is what he's actually doing to the rest of the people trying to vote. Flipping him off after he's already ahead of him. All right. Well, some of the other comments that we have in the chat here. Combat Racer, thank you for being the top voted comment on my screen. Says, never been a Brad fan until seeing the hardships he's faced this season. My heart sank when his tire went down. So happy he still ended up winning at the end. I agree.
And also too, to add more context, remember he lost his father in last December too. So I mean that's right. Also so I mean it's more than just racing, but yeah, I mean it's good to see him finally get a win as a car owner. That's good.
SMCS Racing Network said this was even more of an attrition race than most super speedway races. I don't go that far.
It was honestly more of an attrition race than the Coke 600. I might say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Most Potatoes says 19 winners, heartbroken for Brad losing a tire, but he won as an owner. Let's see, scroll a little bit. Again, there's so many ones that look good, but then I open it up and I see, oh geez.
I'm gonna say those on there.
Let's see. This Serum says, I love the race as a whole anyhow, and it's made all the sweeter by Chris Buescher finally getting it done. For real this time, Chris Buescher is a cup winner, 11 out of 10. Oh, Jesus, I didn't see the end of it. He goes, and would watch Elliott lose again.
Oh, man. And they call us Elliott haters. It seems like we catch more Elliott haters.
That was the best looking run Elliott had in the last, far as I can remember, for a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Jason Jeffrey says, number 1, the absolute best short track race so far this season. Number 2, it wasn't quite as good as last year's, but I was there last year, so I could have a bias. Number 3, absolutely love to see Chris Buescher win. 4th, Harvick may be out, and that sucks, but at least he made it to the checkered flag tonight. That's all I asked for. So
the best was it the best short track race all season, Jerry? I mean, it's not much of a competition.
I'll be real. Year, I liked the strategy at Richmond, especially the first one. I actually really enjoyed that. I know I was in the minority on that, but I enjoyed it. I'm gonna read one last one before we go right down to the bottom and see if I can read those. Bruh, I'm a pigeon says the Bristol night race is more of a crown jewel than Indianapolis ever has or could be. I mean,
at this point, if we're not racing on the Indy Ricard, I'd elevate it to that status.
Yeah, what would you guys say are the crown jewels, honestly? Because mine have always been Daytona, Coke 600, Southern 500, Bristol night race. Those are my four.
Mine are Daytona, Coke 600, Southern 500, and Bristol night race.
Yeah, basically those four you just listed off. Those are the only ones I can really think of. Yeah.
If you put the Brickyard 400, just because of winning on the oval version of Indy, I would bump Bristol back out. But as it stands now, Bristol night race is a crown jewel race.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree. I think the viewership
wouldn't
just
say
needs to be
Bristol
there.
Spring, even whether it's concrete or dirt, I wouldn't put it there. But the Bristol night race, the fall race, that's a crown jewel.
Yeah, it's definitely earned its place there.
It just something it's just different.
See, I also used to consider the 4th of July Daytona races as like the 5th crown jewel.
I thought it was, but moving it doesn't put it there anymore.
Yeah, no. So only 4 in my opinion.
So here are the bottom 5. Again, these are not me saying this. This is other people saying it. I'm just relaying the message and the comedy of it. KFB sucks. Put English muffins are better than croissants. Delete that comment. No, I'm kidding. You have every right to say it, even if you're wrong.
I did have to stare at an English muffin on the side of Ricky Stenhouse's car for a while on Saturday. So.
Oh yeah,
I like that. Except there's way too much like sour cream on the side or whatever. Like there's like too much.
That was the bagel on the other side. The English muffin had butter on it.
Okay.
DJ Double Fresh says, haha, screw KFB and Harvick. Next is the best track on the schedule, and it has been for 10 years. Go Texas. Change my mind.
Yeah, well, you're just looking to rile people up in the chat.
Denny Delivers covered both halves, man.
Oh, we got a double.
He covered the spread of the chat. He said, double whammy. He said, imagine having your championship pick be eliminated in the first round. Sorry, Eric.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So it's like that one time when I was gone, y'all talk about Bowman. Now we're talking about his championship pick when he's gone.
We are, yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to talk to him about it next week when he's on. Like, I'm not letting that go. Andrew Mayer leaves his 33 race list of his favorites of the year. He put this race 8th. It's above Watkins Glen for him and just below the first Talladega race.
Wow. Okay. Top 10. Hey, look, people love the chaos and stuff. I like races that do have that whole, attrition aspect where it's like, oh, this car, hey, your car can't, break down and stuff. But it's a lot different when when the parts are, spec parts, so like the teams can't really do anything to really fix them in that moment. So I would put it a little lower in my opinion, but hey, I respect it. Top 10.
I'm looking at the chat and it's just a bunch of shots fired at Eric and then there's Denny Delivers being like, oh shoot, yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think he was referring to maybe just fans in general, but yeah, he didn't realize in that moment that Eric.
No, he meant Eric. I think he forgot he put 2
Eric.
comments.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, then Delivers just said, imagine a little channel roasting a multi 100K
YouTuber. Eric has a good sense of humor. And then the lowest voted comment was from Nick Last Name, who said, that was the most boring Bristol race I've sat through in a while.
Damn,
I personally thought 2011 was.
There's been worse, like because of it was entertaining, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. It was still entertaining.
Hey, look, the racing wasn't good at times, and you could make the case that this race was definitely not a competent one with all the failures. But it wasn't boring, though.
I was seeing some passing, and I could see cars running in multiple grooves at different point in the race, but it wasn't like. It wasn't an all-time classic, but it wasn't a snoozer at Bristol. Back in the, was it like 2011, 2012, they could literally only run up on the top, and that was boring.
Yeah.
The 2012 one was awesome, so I'd say it's 2011 was the multi-group.
Sorry. 2011, both races, and 2012 in the spring, they could only run like up on the top.
And
So,
literally the only time in the spring 2012 race that anything happened was when Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon get together and just minimal contact cut Gordon's tire. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
I will say to this day, even though I do like the way that Bristol is now, and I think the short track package is what kind of brought this race down a little bit more, man, I wish they would have put more PJ1 on the bottom so that we could have had more lane variation through the race and had old Bristol the first two stages like we've had the last couple years, because I feel like that could have helped a bit. But yeah, that's the poll.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to the famous Iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
I'll put next week's up after the Texas race, and and when I'm live after that, and hopefully I'll be awake during that. 500 miles of Texas next week, boys. Yay.
Oh wait, it's 5. Oh no, I just remembered.
Hope you're sober.
Oh,
I'll
God.
be sober. I'll be sober this time.
Wait, insider joke.
I'll be sober. No, I mean I put it on Twitter, man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Guys,
it was like 140 laps, and I had I think like 16 beers.
I'm just glad. Like, okay, in all actuality, you were like me during Darlington, but you weren't tweeting like me during Darlington that year.
I had responsible friends who were in this call helping me.
Yeah.
They instead put me on a racing sim that I couldn't drive.
Oh, he tried the SRX game, and oh goodness,
that was kind of funny.
That wasn't kind of, it was funny. I remember it all. I remember it. All right. Well, real quick, can somebody get a 3-minute timer out so we can go to our first Super Chat stage break? We've had a couple so far.
I'll do it. I got you.
Okay, cool.
All right. I'm going to start reading.
You want go ahead and start.
All right. First one's from Napa Racing Fan, 927 for 5. North Wilkesboro got sweet revenge on Texas. Now it's Rockingham's turn. Hashtag replace Texas with Rockingham. That's catchy, all right. I would rather have Kentucky back than see Texas. It's the same thing. It's the same track in a different location.
What's the same track?
Kentucky and Texas are the same track.
Yeah,
they're built a little different.
They're both boring.
Yeah, there you go.
At least Chicagoland
I'm curious
had good
what a next
finishes.
gen would do there, but
At least Chicagoland had good finishes. Like Kentucky, like not good finishes, good races. Kentucky had like one good finish. Anyway, Isaac, thank you for the $4.99. Best thing about last year's Texas race, Dale Jr.'s, we got to spin on the back straightaway.
Oh, yeah,
is my wake-up alarm now. That's his wake-up alarm clock sound now.
Oh, that was Chris Buescher when he wrecked.
Yeah, that was the big one. Antar Das, thank you for the $4.99. Crappy parts, Harvick was correct. Some people are overreacting to the 18-11 switch. That's right, they had to, I think, crew switch. The ratings prove the playoffs are useless. Another team will choke. Movement, thank you for becoming a member on the channel. That awesome stuff there. And I also saw that It's Nothing is also a member on the channel. So cool to see. Welcome to the channel. Of course, we have Bill Cipher, who I'm going to read this again, just for anyone who didn't see it. A $300 super chat. That is badass. I saw y'all conspiring in the chat. Jarrett, a deal's a deal. One of us donates $300, and you read the NASCAR romance novels. I said I'd read one, and you did give me your pick. Get reading and remember, everyone, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold, buy. And then he said to read the one by Liz Allison. So that'd be interesting. That was the highest rated one. Antar Das, thank you for the $1.99. Yes, Bill, finally someone gets it. Chris, thank you for the $20.69. Nice. Don't let anyone tell you the regular season doesn't matter. Chase Elliott was really bad the first round and is back in first for the next round. Bell had the best first round and is back in 7th in the second round.
Good point.
Danny, you met this guy. Where'd it go? Oh man, it reset on me. Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on, I got it.
It's all good.
You met this guy, Hot Piss, for the 5. Just want to give a big thanks to Danny for taking time to chat with me during the track walk. Don't forget.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to give up my identity to the other guys. Move.
I already got you. I sent them a picture.
Yeah. He's like, this is what he looks like. I'm like, yes, finally. There you go.
Chris, thank you for the 10. Ross, Suarez, Cindric, Briscoe, Reddick all got their first wins this year. Bubba and Busher both got their first full race distance wins. Who gets the next first career win? I'm guessing Gibbs. That's perfect place to end off on a question there.
Gibbs, yeah, definitely Gibbs.
First career win, eh?
Yeah, I'd go with Gibbs.
If Harrison Burton doesn't win at Talladega, I'll go Gibbs.
Yeah,
or Corey LaJoie.
Or a famous Cody Ware victory. There you go. Make sure to put some money on him again.
Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up.
I might have to try that crazy 4-car top 10 parlay just for the fun.
I better try that too for the next Dega race, definitely.
Well, before we can try that, we should also thank our sponsor for tonight, one of our sponsors, I should say, Lionel. The Lionel Diecast segment is brought to you, of course, by Lionel, as well as the Super Chat stage break. It is the official diecast of NASCAR. You can order your 2022 NASCAR diecasts now at LionelRacing.com or any authorized Lionel retailer. And don't miss the Lionel Racing NASCAR Authentics diecast at a Walmart near you. Guys, what do we have tonight?
Jared, I'm going to go ahead and take a guess. You've got Bill Elliott 2002 Muppets. Only reason I know is because I was just playing NASCAR Thunder 2003 last night.
Herg, it's the Swedish chef. I mean, I am Swedish, so I think I can make that joke. Yeah, I got this one. I was looking at my closet today. I'm like, which one haven't I shown? And I have. It's like I just look, and people like me as well have like 100 different movies on like DVD or Blu-ray, and they're like, there's nothing to watch. I have that with diecasts. But I was like, I don't think I've shown this one on stream before, so. Here we go. It is, of course, like you said, a Dodge right up there. And I really like this one. Even if it wasn't a Muppet scheme, it looks really, really good. So
yeah, that's nice. Yes, and I just got this the other day, or my mom had sent me a pack of these because she was like, Darren, you never have your sponsors, or you never have your sponsors diecast ever, it seems like. And I'm like, I wanted to send you some. So I was like, all right, thanks, Mom. So she gave me the test car of Kyle Larson. This is actually one of my favorite test cars too. And I'm from the era where like they just had the gray ones or whatever. I mean, like they almost had every single driver's test car back in the early 2000s.
They were easy to make.
Yeah, so it's crazy to see them come back, but yeah, I like Larson's for sure.
And then I've got also a test car from the same wave. We just found this one at our local Target actually. But it's the Brad Keselowski RFK. I figured, hey, in honor of RFK's first win, well, technically it's not their first win, but their first win under a new name. So in honor of that, we went the RFK Brad Keselowski car.
Nice. Well, I also saw this in the chat. People are like, whoa, you're Swedish? And I was like, yeah, I'm actually Swedish and German. So I was like, I could actually be I'm a real Viking.
Real quick, since we don't have Eric, I've got a bonus one to show.
Okay.
And the reason, and it's just sitting here, so I figure, hey, let's do a bonus one. This is it looks like an Alex Bowman patriotic elite from 2019. That's because it is. But this is actually the final car, the final diecast that was ever purchased at JP's NASCAR outlet in Crossville, Tennessee. I was the final transaction on Sunday when JP closed down the store for the final time. And unless anyone else happened to get anything after the fact that I don't know about, this was actually the last transaction on the last official day of business.
Oh, that hit so hard. It be so hard, man. It be so hard, bro.
This might just look like an Alex Bowman diecast to you guys, but this is history right here.
Special.
Yeah.
20 plus years of being one of the most famous independent NASCAR stores in the nation. And this is the last thing that was purchased there.
Yeah. Hey, he lasted a good 20 years, man. 20 plus years, man. I mean, there's not too many businesses that could say that. So hopefully he enjoys his retirement and wish him the best from the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Yeah. Well, guys, the storms are brewing.
Yes, the storms are brewing. It's about that time. It's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for this week?
We actually have a good amount in the lightning round this week. Kyle Larson will stay at Hendrick Motorsports through 2026, and sponsor HendrickCars.com will be signed on his car through this time as well.
Contrary to what people think, that is a real sponsor. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not the same as Rick Hendrick funding it
Mhm.
himself.
He has businesses. They make a ton of money, man. They're able to spend it on themselves. Yeah.
This one's funny, and I get they're passionate.
This one can't be real.
It's real. It's real. And even someone like me who's against having the Chicago street course instead of, I would rather go to
Jared,
Chicagoland. Even I think this is dumb.
Are you really surprised though, Jared?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
I knew. I told you all this would happen. I told everyone that stupid stuff would happen.
We told y'all this like 8 months ago, bro. It's crazy.
Members of the Chicago art community are pushing back against the Chicago street race, as they say the race will shake and or damage the nearby art. This was reported by Adam Stern. I am not making this up. I am not just pulling something out of my butt and telling you. No, this was an actual report. This is actual concerns against this race. And this is from someone like me who, like I said, I would much rather go to Chicagoland. It's right there.
Dude,
Better
hey,
track.
Chicagoland's there. If it don't work out, man, Chicagoland's right there. We're waiting.
But as Spencer says, but my art.
Yeah.
My art. Even though it's like, I feel like if you're a normally insulated building further away, you're gonna be fine.
Now, if your art was like outside and like near, one of the turns or whatever, then yeah, you'd have a shot of it getting damaged. But
Listen,
you have those buildings for a reason.
There are so many reasons you can argue against the Chicago street race, or at least it
Yeah.
being in Chicago. That I don't think that's one of them.
Is that worse than the 5 F1 tracks in Nashville?
No.
Okay. I just want to be sure.
At least the art is actually there.
That's real.
Goodyear's contract is up next year, but as Bob has reported, they are expected to return. So just letting everyone know that's there.
Okay.
Oh, crap.
Goodyear.
Brad Keselowski has said that he has the goal of returning RFK to a 4-car team.
Ooh, I love that ambition. I love that. I love to hear stuff like that.
I hope it works out. I hope it's 4 competitive teams.
Yeah. They once had 4 teams, and they weren't always the most competitive. All of them.
Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are going to be swapping pit crews this weekend, starting at Texas and for the rest of the season.
Yeah, understandable.
Resin will be put down, and the tire dragon will be used at the beginning of the weekend for Texas. This was reported by Kelly Crandall. Also reported by Kelly Crandall, Travis Pastrana is testing NHRA. Is testing an NHRA Top Fuel dragster on Monday at the ZMAX Dragway with Alex. Was it Laughlin or Laughlin?
I think it's Laughlin. Yeah. You talk about the ratings increases for NHRA. If he does one of these races, oh boy, be sure to get another one.
Good news on the Out of the Groove and Alka-Seltzer part. Bailey Curry is going to be returning to the 4 for JD Motorsports in 2023, and they say they will have 3 cars next year.
Nice. Moving on up.
I think Darian should just say this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy, did it make the rounds yesterday when I announced it. So IDK and I have landed a gig to do some commentating and PA announcing at the fairgrounds. Y'all know IDK player from NR Night in America. He's been a guest on the channel, and he's a neighbor of ours. Hello, IDK, if you're out there watching. But yeah, so he landed a gig. He did it. He helped me out with post-race interviews last weekend at the fairgrounds. And after jocking up a few conversations with some people, boom, we are now doing it for Salem now. So he'll be doing the commentating on the PA system, and I'll be doing some of the pre and post-race interviews. So it should be fun. Should be a lot of fun too. But based on some of my content too, I can see why some people were confused. But all I have to say is just look out for tomorrow. Just saying.
More news: Bowman Gray Stadium will be repaved soon. Of course, we talked about earlier. Ryan Blaney's crew chief Jonathan Hassler and his jackman and rear tire changer have been suspended for the next 4 races. And then finishing this one off, this came out a little earlier this afternoon. NASCAR Ignition's 2022 season expansion will release on October 6th for free. And the game, I think, has been marked down now to $19.
But the real question is, will players be able to play it, though? That's the real question here.
We can only hope.
Yeah, we'll see. But yes, and that'll do it for this edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now, back to the show. I got this. I'll do the next one for you.
Okay.
Yep, and just also before we move on tonight's edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, we are brought to you by Forney Industries. Get it done with green. Forney offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and more for do-it-yourselfers, all the way to professional metalworkers. Forney has everything you need for your next project. Shop Forney's top-of-the-line products at Forney.com or any authorized Forney dealer near you. How was that? Hey, I did a good job for Eric. There you go. Hey, there you
Good
go.
job.
See?
Good job.
There you go. All right, let's move on.
All right, so we can get through this pretty quick because it's really just one driver updated about this list. But there have been a little bit of talks about who the candidates for the 45 would be if Kurt Busch retires. I'll be real. I think we all talked about this. I don't see Kurt Busch coming back this year. It's just there's no point.
No, there's no point to come back this year. Now, again, Hamlin has been public, though. He has said right now it is Kurt Busch's ride. He has not said he's going to retire. And you know what? Knowing how passionate Kurt is about the sport and stuff, I mean, he's been racing for years. He's not ready to let it go quite yet. Okay, he's just not. So I think Kurt Busch returns next season. And then if he returns, then Tyler Reddick obviously will wait until 2024 to get that ride. But there's another scenario where maybe somehow, some way he gets bought out, his contract gets bought out, and he's able to come, in 2023 to 2311 if Kurt Busch doesn't return.
Well, 2311 actually says they see it as an unlikely scenario because they would have to buy out Childress.
Well, never mind then. Yeah, never mind then.
Yeah,
So it's an unlikely scenario.
It's just starting the same. I know we had this conversation before, but it seems more likely that Childress does actually want to become a 3-car team, and they probably are focused on, whether it's Sheldon Creed or Austin Hill, whoever takes over that 3rd car after Reddick, it's going to be one of them. So unless they get another, free agent we're not thinking of right now, maybe they get an Alex Bowman or someone like that.
Well, so the name that came up for the 45 though for next year, it was John Hunter Nemechek.
Yes. I love that, dude. He already has a season's worth of Cup Series experience. That'd be in 2020, so it wasn't really a regular season. So he still has yet to run a full regular Cup Series season, without the weekday races and all that stuff. And look, he's proven himself in trucks. He was extremely consistent last season. He's going to be a championship contender this season, in my opinion. I think he'll be in that championship 4. His talent warrants a Cup Series ride. Now, of course, you always hear, oh, this guy has talent, but he doesn't bring money. In this case, he doesn't have to worry about it. It's all lined up there, because of Bubba Wallace and other partners, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan. So I would love to see him in that 45 car, even if it's just for a year.
Yeah, I think like he deserves the chance because he's looked incredibly good the last 2 years in trucks. He's looked extremely competent and good in Xfinity. So I think he deserves that second chance. I know that he wrecked a lot or spun a lot in 38, but that was a different car back then than even it is now. And it would be a much different car than the 45 would be. I wouldn't go in expecting him to be a playoff contender, but I think that, he's stuck in with Toyota for so long. I think that he deserves to have this chance. He deserves to be given the shot to do this. And who knows, maybe, at that point, when Reddick comes in 24, we're going to know what the new TV deal is. Maybe they keep him if he runs well and they run a 3-car team as well, like Childress is talking about doing. So
yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out as we see how the negotiations for the new TV deal play out. Because if the teams start getting more money and they're able to, I don't know how much getting money would really change the value of the charters. But if they're able to have a sustainable model and be able to expand, I see no reason why 2311 couldn't keep him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a team, in my opinion, that have, that have aspirations to be one of these, mega teams, in the future. They're obviously still, getting some stuff situated, but yeah, I mean, if they can have a decent enough TV contract, I mean, because what do the teams get? How much currently with the current deal? Like,
I think it's like 25%.
25%. Yeah.
It's a lower number. It's higher than the sanctioning body, but way lower than the tracks.
Yeah, and the way lower, like not even in the same area code. So like if they can just get that a little bit closer to to what the tracks are getting, because obviously I don't think the tracks are going to take a huge chunk off, because dude, they've been making that money for so long. They're not just about to stop now. So, but there has to be maybe some sort.
You got to remember
that compromise.
You remember that NASCAR owns a good amount of these tracks at ISC now.
Of course. So yeah, they don't want to lose any more money than they have to, but there has to be some sort of compromise for the stability of these teams long term. And if that means getting more talent as well as more entries, then I'm all for it. So 2311 is very intriguing at the moment. Really, all of the next gen teams are really intriguing. You know, got Colleague and Trackhouse, but yeah, their situation is I mean, I don't think they can really go wrong, because if you don't have Kurt Busch, then you can put in a John Hunter Nemechek, who's extremely talented to run for a year, and then move on to Tyler Reddick. Like, yeah, it's a good deal.
Danny, you got anything else, or think we're good to go?
I think we're good to go. Hope it all works out in the end.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time of year.
Yes.
Luckily, next year it'll only be one time. Not picks yet.
Oh no, my
Texas.
Yeah, Texas. Excuse me, the race review and then picks. Yeah, that's right, or preview. Excuse me.
Eric didn't want to be on here because we just keep bad mouthing Texas. He didn't want to go. he didn't want to be like Sandy Cheeks was and absolutely destroy us.
Hey, look, despite Texas being horrible usually, how many people out there actually don't watch it? Because I'm still gonna watch it. I mean, we're gonna.
We got to cover it each week. We're gonna watch it.
We got to cover. Yeah, we're gonna watch it. You know, and apparently on Twitter, when I asked the question, apparently a lot of other people watch it. So yeah, it's typically a boring, terrible race. Nobody's not gonna watch it.
I'll have it on. I might be writing a video.
Yeah,
not really watching.
I'm gonna have something else. I'm gonna have some football games on the side too. Yeah, so I'll try my best to keep track with football.
I mean, I've been watching every race, literally every single race since 2005. So I'll watch it.
He's not about to miss one. Yeah.
But
break that streak.
Looking at this weekend, we have two races. We have an Xfinity and a Cup race. The Xfinity race is the Andes Frozen Custard 300. It is 200 laps. It is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on USA and PRN. The weather, it's hot. It looks exceptionally hot. Really, really hot, like NASCAR even put here.
That's how hot it was today here in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. As hot as what it says on screen right now. So Saturday is 97. It is sunny with record heat, 2% chance of rain. Last year's winner was John Hunter Nemechek. And then the Cup race is the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500. Such an easy one to say. 334 laps, 330 as well. USA and PRN as well. Sunny. Partly sunny, at least, on Sunday. 96 degrees, 5% chance of rain. And the defending winner was Kyle Larson. I just knew everyone would like that.
I just saw the image.
Hey, no one get on me about that. That was NASCAR that did that.
Yeah, NASCAR did that, y'all.
Side note, I got to say, Andy's Frozen Custard is very proud of their race at Texas Motor Speedway. Because every time I went to the local one in Gallatin, Tennessee, I've seen the advertising of watch the Andy's Frozen Custard 300 at Texas Motor Speedway and root on AJ Allmendinger in the Andy's Frozen Custard Chevrolet.
Yeah, and didn't you bring us Andy's Frozen Custard a while back?
Good.
It was so good. I'd never had it before.
Andy's is good.
Yeah, it was great.
I love how people are saying that. I'm so sus for that, and it's like NASCAR put that.
NASCAR put that on.
Go on
Twitter,
NASCAR's
bro.
Twitter. It is there.
Sorry.
For those of you who didn't see it in the chat, it's an edited version of the Maroon 5 singers' disgusting ways.
Really, everyone's been doing something. Even the Buffalo Bills had something about that.
Yeah, everybody's on.
They better clown his ass. I just screw that guy.
Yeah,
their music sucks anyway. Anyway, Darian, what do you think about the betting odds?
Well, what doesn't suck is the betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Kyle Larson enters this weekend as the favorite. Actually, we have two favorites tied at plus 600, both Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott plus 700, Kyle Busch plus 850, and Ryan Blaney plus 1,000. Remember, he did win the All-Star race in the summer. Best of the rest include Christopher Bell at plus 1,000, William Byron, Ross Chastain, and Martin Truex Jr. all tied at plus 1,200. And finally, Joey Logano at plus 1,500. As for the underdogs, Bubba Wallace plus 2,000, Alex Bowman plus 3,000, Daniel Suarez plus 4,000, Chris Buescher plus 5,000, and Ty Gibbs at plus 10,000. Now for the fantasy picks, well, for the first time all season, we are below 100 players. I guess one of the guys was just fed up with the league and just left. So now we're at 99. So we technically have one more spot. So if you wanted to get in, you can get in literally right now. It's NWP Fantasy on the NASCAR Fantasy Live app. Look that up. So currently, Trevor Sports 98, who's in the chat, pretty sizable lead in the overall standings. And in second place is 48 Nation. Third is Toyota Tough. Fourth is Prime Speed. And fifth is RPG Racing 2. Now for the playoff standings, Larson Fan 5 is currently 10 points ahead of Prime Speed, followed by Adam Cub Racing. Trevor Sports 98. He's in contention for every single championship. Hell, he might sweep it. And finally, Danny B. Wife, aka Claudia, is in fifth, but Blue Jimmy 48 fans only 2 points behind. So the top 5 is still wide open, y'all. So, and I am 59th because I'm terrible. But yeah, so that'll conclude the fantasy. And then one more spot. So you want to get the final slot and be guaranteed a last place finish, go join right now.
Well, with the pick points, nothing's guaranteed. Right now, Eric is the leader at 500. Chat, you're minus 12. Danny, minus 68 in third. I am fourth now, minus 72. And Darian is fifth, minus 85.
How'd you get in the basement?
I'm prepared. I was going to explain this. So truck race, John Hunter Nemechek, he messes up, or his crew messed up. I can't remember, man. He basically struggled.
No, I'm not saying this week. How this season did you get in the basement? You were like right on their tail. How'd you get there?
I don't. He
did the same thing last year. He was right on me and Eric's tail, and then all of a sudden he fell back.
Yeah, just tailed off. Yeah, tailed off. But then I picked Ty Gibbs, and then DNF'd, and then Ryan Blaney was my cup pick, and then he has tire problems immediately. Hey, it is what it is. But I still have time to get out of it, hopefully, or I could just dig myself even further. But hey, at least it's been extremely competitive all season. At least it's not like minus 100 something yet, right? So that's good.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. I'll read off Eric's picks. Who's going to win the Xfinity race? Eric says Ty Gibbs.
All right, chat. It's you and Eric right now. So Ty Gibbs is his pick. So if y'all want to pick the same, go for it.
I'm picking the same. I'm going to Ty Gibbs for this one.
Well, it feels good not to pick last. Oh, it does. I know I'm probably gonna now that I've said it, but I'm gonna go with somebody different. This guy is in the race. He's the defending winner of this race. I'm gonna go John Hunter Nemechek. He needs to prove himself.
MV Rounder, Carson Hoser. It's Xfinity, not trucks, y'all. Not truck series. But yeah. So my pick. Oh, this sucks picking last. This sucks so bad. I'm gonna go with Noah Gragson. He's on a hot streak, and I think he continues.
And looking at the chat right now, they're going Gragson.
Yeah, they're gonna go.
That's
Gragson.
heavy Gragson.
They're doing the exact opposite of Eric. Yeah,
actually, John Hunter Nemechek is in this race.
He is.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, someone picked Carson Hocevar.
No, I picked John Hunter Nemechek. And
okay, no, I'm saying the chat. Someone in the chat picked Carson Hocevar for some. I'm like, no, it's not Truck Series. That's what I said earlier. But yeah.
By the way, thank you, mods, for all the work you do in the chat. Let's look at who's going to suck this weekend. And Eric isn't going to have the suck or dark horse pick since he ain't here. So, Danny, lead us off. Who's going to suck?
Suarez.
I know we gave good vibes about this one, but it doesn't mean his season is turned around by any means. I'm going Brad Keselowski.
Did good here in the summer in the All-Star race, but there's just something about this team, man, and their bad mojo. I'm not saying he's totally out of it yet, but I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney to somehow suck this weekend.
We want quick through the chat's going Almirola.
Of course.
He got the pole last week. I'm just saying.
Hey, I got the pole last week.
Watch Almirola wins.
They're
going Almirola. All right, let's go to dark horses for this week. We're underdogs. Danny, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Austin Cindric as my underdog. He actually got third place back at the All-Star race earlier this year. So I'm going to go with Austin Cindric for this one.
I didn't know who to pick for this one, so when in doubt, I go Eric Jones.
Damn, you read my mind. I was gonna pick Eric Jones as well. I think he'll get at least a top 10 finish.
I think we're actually beating the chat to the punch because of the 8-second delay.
We are. Holy crap! And yeah, there's only 3 of us now. Yeah, for now.
Yeah, there's 3 of us, so it's harder. But okay, here they're rolling in. I see a lot of 2s and 45s.
I've seen a lot of Bubba.
That's what I've been seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some Bubba.
We'll give you Bubba Wallace.
And also one that says Tom Brady will suck. I doubt it, man.
I hope not this week.
I didn't know that.
They're playing Green Bay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, now there's a lot of Cindric coming in.
Yeah.
Now we'll give him Cindric. I don't care. It ain't for points.
Yeah. We'll give y'all Cindric.
They go with me and Cindric.
There you go.
All right.
All right. And now for the main event. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Texas?
Real quick before Jarrett says this one, I'm kind of shocked Eric picked this one.
He's the points leader. I trust him.
He does whatever
to
he
at least
wants.
get a good pick. Because I swear, this dude gets a good pick no matter who he picks. This dude could pick Cody Ware, and Cody Ware would get a top 5. But he didn't pick Cody Ware. He picked Kyle Busch.
Yeah. So we'll let that simmer in the chat a little bit, guys. He picked Kyle Busch here, and we've known his track record lately. So this might be the chance. But hey, it's Eric picking though. So hey, you never know.
I'm going a guy who's been on a little hot streak, especially in these 1.5-mile tracks, and this place is already guaranteed to lose a date. Alex Bowman.
Well, I'm gonna go with the guy who at the moment is the hottest guy going into it. He's done pretty well at the 1.5 miles. Finished 11th or better in the last 4 Texas starts, and I think he's faster this year than he's ever been. Christopher Bell.
So far in the chat, I'm seeing a lot of 48, and actually, he was the best Hendrick car in the All-Star race earlier this season.
That's right. Yes, the All-Star race was good and all, but it certainly wasn't 500 freaking miles. And we're racing in extremely hot temperatures over the weekend. Ooh, it might be a tough race on equipment and especially the drivers. It might be a race of attrition, or it might just be another drawn out, long, boring 500-mile Texas race. Who knows? But the one thing I do know is that this guy was extremely consistent last year on this track. And hey, barring the unforeseen, I could see him repeat as the winner. Kyle Larson.
Well, I'm looking at the chat, and there's a lot of 5s and 48s.
5, 48, and 12 is what I've seen.
Oh, yeah. I'm seeing mostly 5s and 12s. Well, now it's starting to see more 5. I think it's 5.
I ain't seen a 48 in a minute, so I think they got off that one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put it in the poll anyway?
Sure. Just because there was a lot at the beginning.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a delay, anyways, too.
This will be interesting to see these 3 go head to head and see who they want to go with.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just put it all in, and then while they're voting, we'll do super chats. And if it's too close with any of the 2, we can put someone in there. If it's too close with any of the 3, I'll just make another one and just put other, and whoever wins from there.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, and 3 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. It's up. All righty, poll is up, and while we're doing that, let's go to the final super chats of the night. Starting with Napa Racing Fan 927 for 2. Brad mentioned expanding to 4 cars. Future of RFK, possibly.
Yeah, be on the lookout for them.
Go for it, Bradley.
New. I'm gonna call you that for 2. New for 2. If Bristol is bad, why don't they do 2 dirt races? Oh.
Oh no.
Oh man. I don't know. Melon Smasher 1, thank you for the 5. Hey boys, another week, another Gregson puke session, and another winner not named Truex or Blaney. Lukeo, thank you for the 2 Canadian. 2 race scheduled, 15 seasons in a year. What? 2 races?
I think he says. I saw that earlier. I think what he meant to say was, let's only have 2 races a year for 15 seasons. Maybe that's what he meant to say. I don't know. He's just trolling.
Hot Piss, thank you for the 5. How about a 1v1 style playoff? 1 seed has One seed has to have a better average finish through the round than 16 and so on. Maybe a bad idea, but just a thought.
I just want to do away with it. Let's go back to the consistent point standings. There you go. That's my cup of tea.
Jupiter Rain, thank you for the 2. I love NASCAR, but I watch the NFL first. A lot of people do.
Yeah, that's your preference. Yeah, nothing wrong.
I'm gonna assume this is Mark Martin fan for life for 5. Wouldn't noon starts get people before football kicks off in the afternoon and hopefully hook them? I mean, if it's noon Eastern, then yes. So maybe. Oh baby, thank you for the 10. Just watched your video about Monday races, and I was wondering how much Brad Keselowski helped the rating by using Twitter during the red of the 2012 Daytona 500. It says 2011. Had on the number you said it had. Actually, even if Twitter played any kind of role, the giant long red flag actually hurt the race more than helped it. Yeah. Andrew Meyer, thank you for the 5. Ryan Blaney is straight up cursed at Bristol. He always runs well there, but every time he leads, he crashes. I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, the 2018 one was way worse in my opinion. That was it was crazy.
Ross Crash Stain, thanks for the 2. Can we get Denny Delivers on the show? Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Maybe someday.
Oh baby has 2 more. How much did Brad Keselowski and Twitter, he put the same one again, and then he put the 2011 Daytona 500, but it was 2012.
He wanted it answered, man. Hey, that's
Eric's in the chat asking, did the chat pick Almirola again?
No, they picked him. Well, yes, they picked him to suck.
They picked him to suck, yeah.
Mafire 924, thank you for the 2. Will Bristol ever run just a bottom line track again? Maybe one day. Arcane Draconis, thank you for the 10. Do y'all think they ever would decrease the amount of super speedways or make them purely preseason testing? No, they won't do that.
No way.
They
Dude,
add
they
nothing
just
to
added
the,
Atlanta.
Hold on. They add nothing to the season other than Mickey wins or axe the second date at tracks in general. I mean, I'm fine with a lot of tracks losing their second date.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I would like to see less second dates, even for my home track too, if that means more races on the schedule or more different tracks.
Bill Seifert, thanks for the 5. He puts, you better be careful making fun of Texas Motor Speedway. Don't want the Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Sandy Cheeks kicking your butts.
Dude, they probably think it's terrible too. I'm sorry. They probably think the same thing.
Need for Speed. 53, thanks for the 2. Praise Ty Dillon. Join the Ty Dillon cult. No, thank you.
This Ty Dillon thing.
Rowdy Every Lap, thanks for the 5. In 2023, there will be 6 full-time Cup drivers who are former full-time KBM drivers. Jones, Wallace, Bell, Burton, Byron, and Gregson. Huge coup for Chevrolet. Chips Never 957, thank you for the 5. I'm late, but let's effing go Busher. 2 of my favorite drivers getting wins in a row. Now Brad needs a W, and this will be the best season ever. Ralph J. Limbrick Jr., I think you were the last super chat on the board at the moment, unless I might have to update it again. Said, I had a good time tweeting with y'all on Saturday night. NASCAR should go back to the Winston Cup style system with current scoring formats. I imagine you mean with like stages and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I'd be cool with that. If that was like the nice middle ground meeting, I'd be okay with that. Looking at the chat right now, it's pretty clear their pick is Larson.
Yeah, so you and me, chat, we're in the same boat. Let's see if it pays off.
Y'all were in the same boat the whole weekend with Larson and Gregson.
Oh, hey, there we go. So, hey, let's see if we move up or...
Chat, we just got over telling you how much he's been collapsing this year, and you choose the same as him. You were warned. Isaac, thank you for the 5. Now that the Fastenal curse is over, will Fastenal lift their curse over Darian's Twitter account? Find out this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway.
I don't think they have a curse over my Twitter. I think I have a curse over my Twitter on race days sometimes. Yeah.
That one ain't going away anytime soon.
No.
But yeah, that about covers it.
Yeah, that's it.
Eric will be on next week, and you can join us next week on Wednesday night September 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Darian's channel, Black Flags Matter. We'll go over everything from Texas, preview Talladega, and we're not going to say yet, but we do have a special guest, possibly in person, that's going to be joining us next week.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that on social media platforms. Once we get everything planned out and confirmed, we'll announce it. So yeah, I cannot wait for next week's show on my channel. And look out for some more content.
But yeah, I think that covers it, guys. We good. We actually had a little bit of a short. It wasn't a heavy news week this week.
Yeah, hey, I checked the itinerary and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a quick show.
After like a couple like 2.5 hour shows we had there as well, but it's kind of nice just to be at our usual time.
We're averaging a normal show this week.
There we go. See? Hey, we're doing it. But yeah,
or an above average crazy race.
I think next week we might go over 2 hours though. I think we might go over. Yeah.
Because even if Texas is bad, like there's always seemingly something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Even if
are
it's just
you telling me there's more to talk about with Texas than Bristol?
It's been that kind of year, man.
It's been weird. It's been a weird one. So it wouldn't surprise me.
All right. I think we should close this baby out. What about you guys?
Yep, let's do it. No Dale call, so I'll do the
Trigger green. Holy moly. Great job! Yeah! This guy.
Thank you. Wow!
Hell yeah. Woo-hoo! Great job, man!
Now we got a crash. Car spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip.
Rain like hell, baby. Come on.
Oh my god, guys! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable. You guys are the best. Yes, 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 yes! Oh, what a year.